Hello, I'm Micker410 and welcome to my channel where I focus on 3-inch revolvers and firearms chambered in the 410 bore shot shell. Let's check out today's video. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. In today's video, we're going to have a little bit of fun with moon clips. A couple videos back, I tried to shoot some 40 Smith & Wesson and 10mm out of this Ruger GP100. And we had some light primer strikes on the 40 Smith & Wessons, primarily from Norma. And at the time, I wasn't sure if it was because of the brand or because the firearm was used or some other issue that I was unaware of with shooting 40 Smith & Wesson out of a 10mm revolver. So one of the comments in that video suggested that the moon clips themselves had been overused and that was what was causing the light primer strikes, and to get some new moon clips and to try again. So I went over to TK Custom and I ordered some new moon clips for the GP100 and 10mm, and we're going to do that in this video. So in addition to testing the new moon clips and 40 Smith & Wesson out of the GP100 and 10mm, we are also going to test some new moon clips that I got from Clevercraft, a company that sells 45 ACP moon clips that are very thin that work in the Taurus Judge line. The Poly Protector is what we'll use today. And we'll compare the performance of 45 ACP, Winchester white and red box, 230 grain, 835 feet per second full metal jacket rounds. We'll compare that performance, just chronograph performance, nothing too fancy, out of the to the Smith & Wesson Governor, firing the same Winchester ammunition in the moon clips that it comes with and is designed to use. So the 45 ACP moon clips for the Taurus Judge, it's not designed for that. So those clips have to be really thin in order to allow rotation of the cylinder. And it's not something you should be doing with plus P ammo, and you should really only do this sparingly because 45 ACP pressures are higher than 45 Colt and 410 pressures. So that warning should be there. This is really just to kind of see what if, and we're not going to take it too far. This is not going to be a regular occurrence for this firearm. All right. Anyway, let me bring you guys closer up on the guns and the ammo, and then we'll get to shooting. This will be a fast one. Be lots of fun. Okay, folks, this might be a little bit hard to see because the sun is starting to set. We've got our Taurus Judge Poly Protector and our 45 ACP with these really thin moon clips. Then we have our Smith & Wesson Governor and our 45 ACP with these thicker moon clips. I don't know if you guys can quite tell, but they are significantly thicker. Then over here, we've got our Ruger GP100 in 10mm. And not only do we have some Norma and some Blazer loaded up and some brand new TK custom moon clips, but we also have our light primer striked 40 Smith & Wesson from the previous video. I saved those, and we will try to fire these again and see if the moon clip allows us to get a good strike. All right. Let me get everything set up for testing. See you in a few. All right, folks, we're going to shoot 2 sets of moon clips. Yep, see? This one just popped right out. When you have moon clips this thin, it's real easy for them to become loose. This one has been fired once before, so that might be why. Anyway, we're going to shoot 2 sets of 5 moon clips. 45 ACP at 20 yards, full metal jacket. Let's see what kind of results we get. .646, 628, 586, 611, and 578.3 for an average of 610. That is quite a bit lower than rated, but again, with a revolver, we're losing feet per second at the cylinder gap, and we're losing feet per second because the cylinder is so much longer, and there's quite a bit of jump before the bullet engages with the barrel. Our second batch of 5. This time I'm going to try double action. 648.4, 618.6, 611.6, 599.2, and 617.6. So our average is just 614 feet per second. Very low. If you were going to shoot 45 ACP out of a Smith & Wesson Governor or a Judge, you're probably not going to want to use hollow points. They're probably not going to achieve the velocities that you need. All right, let's switch on over to our Smith & Wesson Governor. All right, so we're loading up our Smith & Wesson Governor, everybody. This guy holds 6 instead of 5, like the Taurus Judge does. Slightly longer barrel, 2 3/4 inches versus 2 1/2 inches. We'll see if that makes any real difference. 619, 637, 625, 613.4, 625, and 632 for an average of 625.5. Very minor difference. Pretty much just what we would expect for having such a small change in barrel length and having such an non-optimal setup for firing 45 ACP. These both kick a little bit, but they're not terrible. These guns are in the mid-20s to high 20s in weight for ounces for weight, so that absorbs some of the kick, and this is pretty mild 45 ACP. All right, we're going to shoot our second batch here, and I'm going to try double action with these. 659.5, 682.9, 350. Wow. That was an undercharged one for sure. I could feel it. I'm just going to be a little careful here. I'm going to check the barrel real quick. Okay, it is empty. When they're that low, I just default to checking to make sure it's not a squib. I know it's not. I saw the bullet impact on the backstop, but it was just important to check anyway. Better safe than sorry. All right, our next shot. Nope. It's going to take, let me get that arranged here. Sorry, folks. Our next shot. 678.9 and 673.0 for an average of 617. All right, so not only... I missed one. Ha! All right, let's get that guy. So that's another thing here, folks. We'll take this as an opportunity to show you. When you have empties in your moon clip, it becomes more difficult to insert them. They don't feed as smoothly into the chambers as they do when they have other, when they have their bullets in the casing still. All right, last shot. 652.4. All right, so the average is 620. That last shot bumped it up by 3 feet per second. Yeah, it's not optimal, folks. You certainly wouldn't want to be using hollow point expanding ammunition, but there may be benefits to using 45 ACP full metal jacket at such low velocities, whether for training or for reducing the amount of over-penetration full metal jackets tend to do to more acceptable penetration distances. We might cover that in another video. Okay, folks, first we're going to try the 3 light primer struck 180 grain Normas. All right, first one went off. That's interesting. All right, folks, silly stuff always happens. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to bring it up to the camera here. I have fun with these videos for reasons like this. Right here, my fiber optic is no longer in the sight. At some point it came out. I'm not sure when. I'll have to replace that. You never know what's going to happen when you shoot. All right, so 925.8 is a much more respectable velocity for these Normas to be getting. It's only 90 less than what is rated for being shot out of an autoloader, which is great. 919. No, and it wasn't good enough to set off the last one. We're just going to put that guy over there for now. All right, so our average was 922, and we set off 2 of the 3 Normas that would not go off before. Now, they have sat all winter. It's been several months since those were struck, so maybe that's not, maybe they were less likely to fire anyway. All right, so now we're going to shoot the 3 Normas that are on this other moon clip that I've got here set up with Normas and Blazers. We'll shoot the 3 Normas and then we'll back out and we'll input the Blazer info. All right, Norma number 1, 937. Norma number 2 did not go off. Norma number 3 did. That's disappointing. I've got a good solid primer strike on it, but it still didn't go off. This guy right here. All right, folks, we've got the chronograph set for the 165 grain Blazer. Let's see how it does. 984.3, 966. All right, we had a fail to fire. Let's see here. This guy right here is our Blazer. This guy right here is our Norma. Both of them failed to go off. All right, folks. Well, that was interesting. The new moon clips did not seem to do it. We'll have to investigate a little bit further and see if there's something else that can be done. Maybe a spring of a higher poundage being put into the gun or something. I'm not entirely certain. I'm disappointed. Blazer and Norma are both ammunition with, not terrible reputations. Not stellar, but not terrible. So I was really kind of hoping this would happen, that the TK Customs moon clips would take care of it. but it is unfortunately looks like it has not. On the bright side, though, we did get to see how well the 45 ACP moon clips worked in the Poly Protector. That was neat. We also got to see why revolvers are pretty fantastic for light strikes and other issues. When things like that pop up, which they do because all of this is mechanical, you can usually just move on. You can just pull that trigger again and take that next shot. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you found this interesting and informative. I know I found the experience interesting and informative, as I always do. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.